This image is an 18th century allegorical representation of the ascension of William and Mary, which reaffirms the dominant Whig view at the time. Magna Carta and liberty, depicted to the left, are in favour, however the Pope is not. The image was drawn by the Dutch engraver Jacob van Schlee and featured in the French Protestant historian Rapin de Torres' History of England in 1727. The intention of this lecture is for you to review and consider how revolutionary the events of 1688 to 1701 were. Knowledge-wise, to explain the events of 1688 to 1701. Skills-wise, to analyse the impact of the events of 1688 and 1701 for their relative significance. Behaviourally, to evaluate the interpretations of the consequences of the events of 1688 to 1701. There are two broad schools of thought on the importance of the Glorious Revolution. The well-established traditional view is that, firstly, it was little more than a non-revolutionary dynastic change of one monarch to another. Secondly, the Act of Settlement ensured a smooth Protestant succession, and the Bill of Rights ensured England returned to an ancient constitution. Thirdly, the Toleration Act excluded some groups, such as non-Trinitarians and Catholics, and dissenters had to practice in registered places of worship. Fourthly, but overall, it was a peaceful, Protestant and quite conservative succession. However, the second school of thought, put forward by a number of Enlightenment thinkers and recent revisionist historians such as Tim Harris and Steve Pincus, this school focuses on the revolutionary nature of the settlement, pulling out a number of key developments. Firstly, the events after 1688 are now reinterpreted as being characterised by violent radicalism rather than peace. This is because the Glorious Revolution was played out over a number of years, not months like previously stated. Secondly, the Glorious Revolution has longer-term causes over that of James II, and they can be found in the Protestant Reformation and the authoritarian actions of Charles I. For some, like Steve Pincus, the revolutionaries included the soldiers fighting on the side of William, meaning they numbered the thousands and were more than just a tiny political elite. Thirdly, the events of the 9 Years' War, Ireland and Scotland could be included in the Glorious Revolution, as this highlights the fact the revolution was not bloodless. It was in fact bloody and violent, where many thousands of people lost their lives. Fourthly, the constitutional settlement confirmed divine right monarchy was over. The Bill of Rights set into law key concepts of freedom. An assassination plot in 1696 by the French saw MPs and hundreds and thousands of ordinary people take an oath, known as the Association. By signing, they accepted the end of hereditary divine right and William's authority. Fifthly, the Toleration Act 1689 had widespread support, and its basic terms were not fully repealed until the 20th century. And lastly, the financial settlement ensured the Crown's ability to control finance was restricted, and Parliament closely controlled the funding for the Army and Navy. The creation of the Bank of England represented a victory for those who supported the possibilities of unlimited economic growth based on a capitalist system of credit. The intention of this lecture was for you to review and consider how revolutionary the events of 1688 to 1701 were. Knowledge-wise, you will now be able to explain the events of 1688 to 1701. Skills-wise, analyse the impacts of the events of 1688 and 1701 for their relative significance via the associated material. Behaviourally, to evaluate the interpretations of the consequences of the events of 1688 to 1701 via the associated material.